Hi, everyone, and welcome to a Criminally Basic podcast. I'm your host, Megan.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we're going to be discussing the case of Alexis Patterson, who went missing May 3rd, 2002 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So when I was looking for a case to cover this week, I was searching through the FBI's national database of kidnappings and missing persons. And I'm scrolling through, and I see this little girl with this huge smile on her face.
Oh, baby.
Mm-hmm. And I click on the profile, and I'm kind of reading through just the information that they have there, what she went missing in, like how she went missing. And there was just something about this little girl and her just big, bright smile that really just broke my heart.
Baby, no. Oh.
So I wanted to
break all of our hearts.
Yes, let's break all the hearts today. Unfortunately, this is not one with a satisfying ending. She is still a missing person. No one knows where she is. But hopefully bringing a little bit more attention to this case will maybe...
something.
Yes. So Alexis Patterson was born on April 4th in 1995. She was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Her parents are Ayanna Patterson and Kenya Campbell. And she was known as just this really happy, bubbly girl. She was reported being a little bit bossy, but as a 6-7-year-old when she went missing, six, 7-year-olds can be bossy, especially she did have a younger sibling. And as an older sibling myself, I can speak to being a little bit bossy at times with my younger sibling. Her favorite color reportedly was pink, and she liked roller skating, just typical first grader stuff.
That's also 23-year-old me's favorite thing. So, yeah. But also, she's got good taste.
Yeah. Good taste for a first grader.
Okay, call me out like that. It's fine.
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Sorry, continue.
So in 2002, she was living in Milwaukee. She lived there all her life. And she was living with her mother, Ayanna, and her stepfather, whose name is Laurent Bourgeois. Bourgeois?
That's French.
Bourgeois? Yes. So his name is spelled Bourgeois.
Ooh, very French.
Yes, very French. So we have mom, stepdad, and then her little sister, Daisani. So reportedly, Alexis had a few nicknames, the first of which was Lexi, which makes sense, Alexis, Lexi, and the second of which was Pie.
Oh, that's so cute!
I was trying to figure out where this nickname came from, and reportedly her mom said that when she was first born, she was the color of sweet potato pie.
Oh.
Which I think is just adorable.
That's so cute.
It's so cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
Leading up to her disappearance, everything was pretty normal in their lives. The school 2 weeks before had actually sent out letters to parents warning them about a man who had tried to abduct a little boy nearby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything more substantial on this, but that is every parent's nightmare.
Yeah, that's a nightmare, and I'm not even a parent. That's just nightmare.
Yeah, so the school kind of got ahead of this and just let the parents know, hey, this thing happened.
Which is good, as they should.
And again, it was just an attempted kidnapping. It wasn't successful, so no one ended up, being hurt or anything like that. But still, that's a really scary situation.
Very scary.
Alexis went to High Mountain Boulevard School in Wisconsin, where she was a first grade student. And reportedly, the school is less than 1 block from the family's home, so she would just walk there every morning with a parent.
That's not unreasonable. 1 block with a parent seems totally fine and safe.
Exactly. So the morning of May 3rd, 2002, Laurent walked Alexis to school and watched her walk across the playground before he turned around and headed back to their home.
Sounds totally fine, safe to me.
Exactly, totally fine. The evening before, Alexis and her mother had actually gotten into an argument, and when I looked up what this argument was, it was just that she hadn't done her homework.
Yes.
So as a result, she had wanted to bring in cupcakes for her class the next day, but her mom wouldn't let her make them because she hadn't done her homework.
That's a kid.
Exactly. So she'd gotten into an argument with her mother because she hadn't done her homework. She wanted to bring in cupcakes the next day for her class, but her mom wouldn't let her make them. So they had a little bit of an argument. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. I remember fighting with my mother when I was in grade school for far less.
Same.
Reportedly, up until this point, Alexis had not missed a single day of school that year, which is why it was a little bit odd when she showed up to none of her classes that day.
Oh, that's very concerning when she's essentially missed no days of school. And, like, usually if, God forbid, the kid actually does get, like, really sick for some reason, they would usually, like, call or something.
Right. And, I mean, this isn't a high schooler who's just skipping out on classes because they're angsty. This is a first grader.
He's a baby.
Exactly. And reportedly, many students saw her crying on the playground before going into school, which, being that young could make sense. She didn't get to bring in the cupcakes that she wanted. She could be tired. She could be stressed. Who knows? But there are multiple eyewitness accounts that states that they saw her on the playground before school, so we know she made it there. And after the school day had ended, there were eyewitness reports saying that she was on the playground again. I'm not sure if she was crying this time. But so we have her on the playground before school and we have her on the playground after school, but she never went into one of her classes.
I'm going to question the school on this one. Why didn't a teacher or someone, when they came out to recess or something, see her and get her?
I have no idea. And honestly, I don't know how big this school is. I don't know if this was a normal thing for students to miss classes or not. What I do know, though, is that the school didn't notify her parents that she wasn't there until after the school day had ended.
That is not good. I don't know if your school did this, but like my school system here, if you even missed the first period of your like class, even like in elementary school, they would call and be like, your student isn't here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember a few times when, like one of my classmates would be out of class. The teacher would always call the office and ask, hey, where is this student? Especially when we were in grade school, because at that point, I mean, at first grade, you're 6, 7 years old.
You're a baby.
You're a baby, exactly. And so if you don't show up to class, and the fact that a child could either A, slip through the cracks like that, or B, that they knew that she wasn't there but just didn't do anything about it,
is very concerning.
It blows my mind.
Very much so.
So we have her on the playground in the morning. We have her on the playground after school, and she has never been seen or heard from again.
And that's terrifying. Even if it was a mistake, what happened with the school? One small mistake cost this little girl potentially her life. She could be alive. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But still, that cost her something.
Yes. When the school notified her parents that, hey, your kid wasn't here today, they were immediately concerned. The police were called, and fortunately, the surrounding areas were searched immediately after she was reported as missing.
Oh, thank God.
Yes. So investigators and cops came and they searched, the nearby area. There was a lagoon that was nearby that was searched as well. They went all up and down the streets, and no evidence was discovered anywhere.
That is one of my biggest fears, and also my biggest curiosities, how someone can just go missing without a trace.
It's really sad. And I mean, we're talking 2002. Security cameras were not as big as they are now, because now it feels like everyone has a security camera or, some sort of security system. But the fact that there was absolutely no evidence anywhere of anything, there were no eyewitnesses, the fact that there was nothing.
Nothing.
Was mind-blowing.
Poor baby. Oh.
So when they were trying to, try to figure out what happened to her, some of her classmates reported that they had seen a red truck parked near the front of the school. They said that it had been there for most of the week, but then the day that Alexis disappeared, it left and they never saw it again. However, they couldn't give any really good descriptors, no license plate or anything, because they're in first grade.
They're babies. They barely know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. They are still learning those.
Yes. As far as teachers and other school staff, I'm not sure. I'm sure that they were interviewed, but none of them had noticed anything suspicious.
And our poor teachers, they are overworked and underpaid. They're taking care of classrooms of children.
Oh, absolutely. So the surrounding area was immediately searched, and unfortunately, nothing was found.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, Alexis was living with her mother and stepfather. Alexis's biological father, Kenya, was actually in prison at the time. He was not in prison for anything violent, but actually in 2013, he was charged with physical abuse of an 8-month-old child.
What?
Yeah. So according to Fox 6 News Milwaukee, the child was brought into the hospital with severe injuries, bleeding in the mouth, and exhibiting seizure-like behavior.
Oh, poor baby.
The baby had a subdural hemorrhage on the right side of the brain and trauma to the brain. The baby recovered.
Oh, good.
Baby's all good. He reportedly said that the baby just fell, and that's clearly not what happened. When he was released, because he was released 3 days after she went missing, there was a little bit of speculation that he had something to do with it, but since he was in prison at the time, there was no way that he could have kidnapped his own daughter.
Yeah.
He was released on May 6th of 2002, and he was questioned by police. And the police say that he was fully cooperative with the investigation and that he has been ruled out. Her mother and stepfather were also brought in for questioning. And actually, her stepfather, Laron, had a criminal past.
Uh-huh.
For example, in 1994, he was involved in a bank robbery, which actually resulted in a police officer in Glendale, Wisconsin, being murdered.
Oh, that's not good.
Yes. So he has a criminal history, and Ayanna, Alexis's mom, reported that he was really abusive towards her.
That's sad. That's not good at all.
No, so not a good home situation.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like a good one at all.
Laron was given a polygraph, and he failed. And actually, in 2003, he was charged with an unrelated crime.
What was that unrelated crime?
So he was charged with domestic abuse between him and Alexis's mother, who at that point in 2003 had been trying to leave him. On May 14th of 2002, investigators reclassified Alexis's disappearance as a criminal investigation, which it was from the beginning.
Yes.
But at that point, when you have a child going missing, you have to cover all the bases first. So it could be a kidnapping. It could be that she had run away. Children aren't typically classified as runaways until 11, 12 years old.
6 or 7, that's not runaway age.
Right. Ultimately, they did reveal that they believed that foul play was involved.
Oh, that's sad. Oh, that's terrible. Like, all these crimes are terrible, but, it's different when it's a little kid. Because, those poor things are very innocent.
So during the search for Alexis, volunteers would come together and search. They utilized canine units. They walked down every possible avenue that they could. They looked around bodies of water. They looked high and low for this little girl, and no one could find her. Police looked through local sex offender registries. They looked through probation and parole files. They weren't able to come up with anything that could have been related to Alexis. Reportedly, in 2005 or possibly 2004, a prisoner who had been imprisoned either with her father or her stepfather reported to investigators that Alexis's remains were buried somewhere in the southern United States.
Oh.
But nothing ended up coming of that lead.
Yeah, so it was just one of those people who was like, oh, I'm going to confess for no reason, just for attention or something.
Right. In 2003, someone reported that there had been remains found in a river nearby, but no remains were ever discovered.
Oh.
And actually, in 2016, there was a woman in Ohio who was believed to be Alexis.
Oh.
Because the FBI has released age progression photos.
Uh-huh.
And a couple, a man and his fiance, they compiled a set, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, they compiled a set of about a dozen photos and sent them to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, who then shared them with the Milwaukee Police Department's cold case unit, thinking this woman looks very, very similar to the age progression photos that the FBI released. Maybe this is her. That, compounded with the fact that this woman didn't remember anything before being like 10 years old, made them think, oh, like this could be her. This could be Alexis.
Was there anything proven to be that, or was she just happened to look very similar?
So they just happened to look very similar. They did a DNA test, and unfortunately, it was not Alexis.
Just a case of everyone has a twin in this world.
Yeah. So unfortunately, with Alexis's case, as we see in a lot of cases, there is lead after lead, and they all just end up dead ends. So when we kind of start to talk about theories, the main theory in this is that her stepfather was somehow involved. He was the last person to see her, or the last adult to see her, I should say, because some of her classmates did see her before and after school. But authorities don't have any evidence to prove that he was involved in any way. But that's the main theory that people kind of think of.
Yeah.
Another theory is that the woman from Ohio is actually Alexis, which DNA results proved that she's not.
There's like no way you can fake that.
No, there isn't. And then the final theory that most people believe is that it was either a random abduction or something of the like.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. So as of today, Alexis's mother is still looking for her. She still believes that she's alive somewhere. Ayanna still continues to celebrate Alexis's birthday every year. Her father, Kenya, has publicly shared that he does mourn the loss of his daughter. I don't believe that Laron has made a statement. Her mother and stepfather, or ex-stepfather, I suppose, moved away from the Milwaukee area. Ayanna has other children now, and each year a wreath is laid at High Mountain Boulevard School in Alexis's honor.
I just really hope with like all these cases being solved as of recent that we'll find out something.
Yes. So since this is a missing persons case, I'm going to read off of the FBI's website what she went missing in and where you can submit a tip to if you have one. She was last seen wearing a red hooded jacket with a gray stripe on the sleeves, a purple shirt, light-colored blue jeans, and white Nike tennis shoes. She wore her hair in 2 braids, pulled back into one ponytail, and was carrying a pink Barbie book bag. If you have any information concerning this person, please contact your local FBI office or the nearest American embassy or consulate. This case is one of the frustrating ones because there's nothing. And it is so sad that a young child,
slips through the cracks like that.
Exactly. It blows my mind that, first of all, it blows my mind that the school didn't contact her parents until after the school day was over.
But also, like, if someone, even if a kid's like, oh, she's outside on the playground, why didn't a teacher or someone go and get her?
Exactly. It's crazy. So hopefully this is a tale of caution for parents, teachers, students. If you see anything that looks even the slightest bit out of place, it never hurts anyone to report it. Thank you all for listening to A Criminally Basic Podcast. If you want to find more, find us at A Criminally Basic Podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
And check out our sources as well as photos on our website, www.acriminallybasicpodcast.com.